The materials that I use are, it's a lamination of plastic laminate on one side and wood veneer on the other side, and they are glued and pressed together. First they form panels that are about 12 feet long, and then I connect the ends to form a long ribbon. And the dimensions of the ribbon, in this case, is 16 inches wide, about a light 1/8 of an inch thick, and 150 feet long. I use a special type of joint called the scarf joint, which gives the joint the same bending characteristics that the rest of the panel has. So once I join the ends together, I don't even keep track of where the joints are because everything has the same bending characteristics. There's a lot of different ways to bend wood, and quite often when people see my work, they either ask me if I've steamed it, or they say, "Oh, you steamed that wood to bend it," and I don't use any steam to bend the wood. If I get the wood to bend by making it thin, so just like a piece of paper bends any way you want it to because it's thin, and a thick board doesn't bend because it's thick. So I have an industrial, like, wide belt sander where I can take take veneers or a panel that has veneers on it, and I can take off 5 or 10 thousandths of an inch, however often I want, and if it's and I know how flexible I want the ribbon to be before I make it, based on the models that I've made for the job. So there's no steaming or no forms or anything. There's just thickness or thinness that determines how easily the wood bends. We can lift this out. It didn't take me long to figure out if I wanted to do public art. I had to be able to pack my materials, tools up in either crates or load them into trailers and ship them or drive them to other parts of the country. And the whole idea of coiling the ribbon up on making a coil of the ribbon and putting it on a spool, carrying or rolling that spool into the building through a small door, and then uncoiling it to fill lots of space. I realized that there are 3 different ways that I could affect the shape of the ribbon as it was hanging from the ceiling. And one, where I attach to the ribbon, because it's a long ribbon, you can attach to it in many different places. 2 is how long the cables are, up to the points to which those cables are attached up in the ceiling. And 3 is where on the ceiling, or the beam that's hanging from the ceiling, where on that beam those cables are attached. So between those, dealing with those 3 different parameters and pulling it off the coil in certain ways, I can get a lot of variety in the way the ribbon hangs from the ceiling. Everything is done temporary first. We don't really commit to anything until the ribbon is totally in place. And then we start making permanent connections. And that gives us a chance to make lots of either minor or major adjustments. It's pretty sturdy material, but it's not like it's unbreakable. So if you make the wrong decision, you can break the ribbon. That's not fun. I do bring a repair kit with me, so if it breaks, I can repair it. Going back to the site visit, I was very happy to hear during that site visit that the building was going to be used for lots of other purposes besides golf, and that the committee was not necessarily looking for a golf type image. And I heard that loud and clear.